What is up, you guys? Marty McFly coming at you, bringing you guys the merch. Welcome back. This is our third video. We thought we'd be able to get it on the first one. The first one, it went to like 15 minutes. Then my phone decided I wanted to shut off. Oh well. Part two, a little bit of a continuation of that. Part three is the culmination of this very short, very terrible three-part series. Kind of pointless. However, patience is a virtue. That phrase could not be any more relatable. Thanks to my good friend over there that ended up telling me that some other shops might be able to get in more copies of some of the Record Store Day releases, and that's Music Talk with John. Thanks, bud. I met him over at Kingfish Records at the day of the Metallica release. Well, he couldn't be any more right. I called Mojo's Records yesterday for one record in particular. They said they had several copies left over. They had 3. When I went there, they had 2 copies left. I think this is 1 out of 2, but here it is. Shadows Fall, The War Within, the vinyl repress. So, this record meant so much to me, especially, the new wave of American heavy metal, metalcore, thrash metal, really a culmination of all of those genres all together. This is their 4th studio album, Century Media Records. I was so glad that this got a vinyl repress. It really needed the vinyl treatment. I think there was one prior edition, came out in 04, somewhere around in there. I want to say that's when they did a vinyl copy of that. It may have came later. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, this came out 2004. We're talking Century Media Records. This is Shadows Fall, Brian Fair with the infamous Beautiful Dreadlocks. I'm so glad this got the vinyl treatment. I mean, this was my introduction to Shadows Fall. This is the first album I ever got by them on CD. My brother was big into them, and he was a huge thrash metal guy, big fan of Overkill, Testament, the Bay Area thrash scene. And he got me into them. I mean, every song on here is an absolute banger. They had several music videos on Headbangers Ball. I mean, you have Active Contrition, What Drives the Weak. Both of those they did music videos for. I couldn't even tell you which one of these is my favorite. I think a song that really grabbed me by the throat and I really loved it was Active Contrition, The Light That Blinds, Ghosts of Past Failures. Those Who Cannot Speak is a great album finisher, highly underrated album ending song. Anyway, 10 tracks. I'm really glad I got it, especially with the resale prices, though, how much this was going for. At some other record stores can actually order this for you because there's still copies of this left online. So if you ask your local record store, chances are they can get this in for you, even post Record Store Day. I was really glad the guys at Mojo's, they had an extra couple copies. Shout out to them, one of my favorite record stores of all time. They always have good stuff. They moved actually to the corner of the plaza now, as opposed to the older location. The new location has a lot more room. It's a little weirder, a little less polished, I think. And, the vinyl collection, as far as heavy metal goes, is incredible. I mean, their stash just gets bigger and bigger. Their used section is huge. Now they have an entire punk and hardcore section, which is way bigger than it used to be. Their 7-inch collection is insane. Obviously they still do coffee, they have books, they have all that good stuff. They have a CD collection. They used to have a massive heavy metal CD collection. That has kind of dwindled down. Now it's just general CDs. But like I said, Shadows Fall, The War Within. Really glad to finally have this. Patience is a virtue. Thanks to Music Talk with John for, kind of telling me to basically keep my eyes open. Don't pay the resale prices on eBay, man. Those guys are going to screw you a new asshole, honestly. Anyway, so there was a couple record shops online, but you know what? I mean, $34, $38, $40 plus shipping and taxes. You're going to end up paying $50 for, this vinyl, which I wanted it bad enough. I just wasn't prepared to spend that kind of money. However, I did pre-order 2 more records to add to the pre-orders that are coming out in May. There's a little known band. They're still independent. They haven't been signed by a record label, but they're great guys, especially Meredith, the drummer. I'm talking about Victims, and that's spelled VCTMS. Pretty amazing hardcore, metalcore band, whatever you want to call it. Whatever. I think they defy their own genre, to be honest with you. Their album, Volume 4, actually meant a lot to me when that came out. It's a lot more melodic than their previous works. A lot, honestly, for me, even last year, 2022 was a pretty rough year all around for me. And when Volume 4 by Victims came out, I heard it for the first time in I'll be honest with you, that album meant a lot to me. It got me through a lot of shit that came out last year. Just a lot of stuff that was going on, man. Sometimes you just need that record that just grabs you and shakes you up, makes you feel a heck of a lot better. Kind of gets you into a dark, dark place, but I'll tell you one thing, man. It made me feel a heck of a lot better. This is the CD. This is Volume 4 by Victims. It's called Numb the Ache. They did another reissue of this on vinyl. So the first issues came out a couple months ago. The pre-orders went out. They were sold instantly, super fast. Some people are reselling it for like $65 online for the vinyl. I was really happy though. Victims ended up doing, they actually had extra copies of this vinyl record, you know, Numb the Ache Volume 4. They had extra copies of it, and they're able to resell it. So they did the same thing for Volume 3 as well. So if you're a fan of Volume 3 or Volume 4, they did a whole bunch of new vinyls for this. Really glad, though, because this album meant a lot to me. This is actually probably the most expensive CD I've ever bought. I'll be honest with you. When I got Evergrey's first album, I think I spent $27 on it because there was just no copies of it laying around. This, I think I paid $30 plus taxes. After shipping and handling, it was $25. $30 with shipping, and then plus taxes. I got it on Discogs, my very first ever Discogs release. I'm trying to not get suckered into the Discogs wormhole, because it happens to everybody at least once. Anyway, I picked up this on Discogs. It was well worth the price. Like I said, this CD meant so much to me. This album meant so much to me. I'm really glad I picked it up. And definitely the most expensive CD I've ever bought. I know some people have paid $50, $75, $100 for a CD, but this is the most I've ever spent. Well worth it in the end. This album meant a lot to me. It's barely left the CD player. Between this and the new Bury Tomorrow, it's been constant replaying the CD player. So now I have the vinyl. I got the blue and white split. It's a beautiful looking vinyl. I'm really glad to have that. Should be shipping in 3 to 4 weeks. The other pre-order I got, of course, is Devil Wears Prada's it's not really an issue, but it's the deluxe edition of their most recent record. And you know what? I think the Prada's kind of been up and down with some of their releases. I think they've all been really good. I've enjoyed basically everything they've done. They've changed up the formula a little bit. They still have the hardcore edge, but they're doing a lot more melodic, a lot more, a lot more melodic stuff, a lot more guitar work, a little less on the keyboards than they used to be. I mean, if you go back to Plagues, with the keyboard sounds, I think it's way more meaningful, a lot more piano, I think, now than actual keyboards. The newest record by them, though, it definitely, I've replayed the living hell out of it. I've really enjoyed it. It's a great record. But now we're going to have the deluxe edition on vinyl. Anyway, it's Devil Wears Prada, Color Decay. Notable songs for me. I mean, the entire album is just so different. Ironically, the song Fire, not heavy at all. It's a skippable for me. I still play because I like listening to it the whole way through. Fire is a softer song, but it's actually still pretty good. Heavy on the electronic side. Hallucinate, though. Hallucinate, Cancer. Really tough to say what my favorite song was. I think Hallucinate's my favorite heavy song. Broken, though. Beautiful song. Really dark, melodic, emotional, moody. Watchtower is great. Salt is great. Anyway, this is coming on deluxe. Beautiful colored vinyls that they're doing. I think I didn't get Reaching. I didn't get Ignorance. I got one of the other ones, but it was a purple and a silver and white. And that's the one I ended up getting. Anyway, it's got 10 bonus tracks, 2 new songs, and then a bunch of remixes and acoustics and live stuff. So that's the other one we got coming out. One last thing before I talk your ears off. I think we have a couple minutes left on this video. So I've been looking forward to getting this for a while, ever since they announced it at Magnanimous Brewing. But this is Magnanimous Brewing. This is the collaboration that they did with the band Worm. Worm is from, I don't know what you want to call it, but basically Evergladian death and doom metal and black metal from the Everglades of Florida. This is Shadowside. So this is the newest beer from Magnanimous Brewing. This is their split that they did with the band Worm. They got to hang out with the guys, then they went up to the Philadelphia Metal Festival together. So it's a Helles Bock lager brewed with Pilsner malt European hops. And it is brewed in collaboration with the necromantic black doom band Worm. So really excited to try this. I don't always talk about the beer side of things on this channel, but it's just such a beautiful beer. I mean, breweries in Tampa are really going out of their way to do collaborations with bands now. I know a lot of other bands have been doing it, but this is awesome, especially the guys in Banders. The lead guys is a great dude. Reach out to him on Facebook. He always posts stuff. Really excited to try the beer. You know, Cannibal Corpse did one with Angry Chair. We have a lot of bands doing a lot of collabs with breweries in Tampa Bay, and I think it's a great thing, especially for Tampa, which was considered the death metal capital. So, you know, the Florida death metal scene, especially in the 90s, OOs, you know, it's unbeatable. So I'm really glad that they actually have a beer with Worm now. Magnanimous, happy to finally try that. Picked that up at Magnanimous Brewing. I think they have another location as well, but this is the Tampa location. So that's kind of where we're at. I'm going to be jamming to some tunes tonight right after the gym. We're going to drink some beer from Magnanimous Brewing. Cheers to those guys. Like I said, lots of new music to coming out, lots of pre-orders, lots of stuff to look forward to. I hope you guys are doing well out there. Really excited to have, you know, none other than Shadows Fall, The War Within repress on vinyl. Colored vinyl, I forgot to actually bring that up. My apologies. I know some of you guys like that. But this is a certifiable new wave American heavy metal classic, Shadows Fall's fourth studio album. On vinyl for the first time ever. Limited edition blue-gray swirl, 2,500 copies. Expanded packaging includes 8-page LP size insert featuring liner notes, ephemera, photos, and interviews with every band member. So, like I said, this is also produced by Zeus. So if you know Zeus, I mean, he did Hatebreed, Queensryche, Municipal Waste. Zeus has produced every heavy metal album in the last 25 years, if you could think about it. He's produced a lot of big bands, a lot of big albums, so I don't want to say every, but he's produced a lot of them. So it's pretty cool to actually have this. Artwork was done, art and design by Tom Bejkowitz, Beastie Boys, I Hate God, Misfits. So anyway, like I said, I'm really happy to have this, really happy to have the Magnanimous Brewing beer. I hope you guys are doing well out there. That's enough from me. I'm going to go enjoy my evening, and thankfully I don't have to go to work tomorrow. I hope you guys are doing well out there. Take care of yourselves. Stay metal.